everybody, thanks for checking out another video on my channel today. Today I'm going to be going over Lomachenko's signature gloves with Rival. But before I get into that history and these gloves, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified of all my upcoming videos. And when the video is over, go down in the comment section, let me know what you think about this video, if you have any questions about these gloves, or if you have any ideas for future videos of what you'd like to see. All right, let's get into it. All right, so today, what I want to go over are Lomachenko, his signature gloves that he had when he was with Rival. So if you don't know who Lomachenko is, he is arguably pound for pound the #1 boxer in the world right now. He is from Ukraine, and when he started out his professional career, his first few fights, he wore a couple different pair of gloves. I think he wore Grant once or twice, he wore Klepto at least once, and I think Everlast once. Yeah, so I think his first 3 or 4 fights, those were the gloves he wore. But then for the remainder, or for quite a while, for his next professional fights, he wore exclusively Rival boxing gloves. And he was with them and only wore Rival up until a little over a year ago, until he went with Venom. I actually have other videos on my channel that review his Venom hammer gloves, which are his new signature gloves with that company. But today I wanted to go over what people probably remember him wearing more often, which are his Rival gloves, because he wore those for so long. So I have them here in his in a colorway he often wore for his professional fights, which pay tribute to his homeland of Ukraine. So they are the RIVAL RFX Guerrero. So these are the sparring gloves in 16 ounce in their HDEF padding. Now I'll get it a little bit into that. At the end of the video, I'll have some close-up footage of the gloves so you can get a good look at these. However, take into consideration, I've had these gloves for a year and a half probably, and of all the gloves I own, these have probably the most mileage on them. That said, they have held up extremely well, but when you look at them up close, they're gonna look like a broken in pair of gloves. So I just don't, these aren't fresh out the box, shiny, you know, perfect. You know, I've had these for about a year and a half, but they still perform excellent. So, but I just want you to know that before you look at it up close. All right, so as I said, I've had these gloves for about a year and a half, and they have held up extremely well. Of all the gloves I own, I go back and forth between these gloves and my Fly, 16 ounce Fly Super Lace gloves, as which of those two are just, if I could only have one glove, I go back and forth between those two. And often it depends on which one I happen to be wearing at that time. I put it on and I'm just reminded, yeah, this glove is just so comfortable and so protective. And then I'll put on the Fly, and the Fly glove is different, has a different feel, different padding, but it's also just excellent. I'll do a video on that glove in the near future. But I say all that to just let you know how much I like these gloves. In my opinion, the Rfx Guerrero, this model, it can stand up to any glove, top tier gloves that you've heard of. Cleto Reyes, Winning, Grant, Fly. This glove, as far as comfort and quality, is just as good as any of the top tier brands. So a little bit about the fit and feel. So I have these in lace up, my hand in there. So this is where I think these gloves just excel, and that is their comfort and their fit. You can kind of tell, and this is something unique to Rival's Rfx Guerrero line. So they make their Rfx Guerrero in fight gloves and in bag gloves. The fight gloves, 8 ounce or 10 ounce, in 2 different padding systems, HDEF, which is their firmer, more protective padding, or SF-F, which is their more broken in kind of puncher's glove feel. So they have them in fight gloves, which obviously are lace up, and then they have a bag glove version, which also come in HDEF or SFF, but with Velcro. And then just recently, they've released Rfx Guerrero bag gloves with D3O IntelliShock technology. And I have a video on that on my channel as well, so check those out. And they actually have one of the colorways in this blue and gold is essentially identical to Loma's glove when he had that glove with them, which that's what I do the review on, is that glove. So be sure to check out that video. So these gloves, the Rfx Guerrero, the fight gloves and their sparring gloves, they do this, they kind of come in at an angle here, starting where your pinky would be over here, coming all the way down. This is where the top of my wrist is, where it comes in. And I still have room about an inch or so on the right here. So it's not a tight hand compartment, but it is more compact, and it's more ergonomic to your hand. You know, if you look at your hand, it kind of comes in like that. It just fits and feels natural, which is really nice. Also, what makes this very comfortable is the thumb placement. So they do kind of this parallel thumb. So it's straight on, straight up, and it is extremely comfortable. It's well padded on the back here, so good protection. None of this would hurt at all, but it's not tight. It does not pinch your finger in there. And there's good padding up on the tip too. So if you jam it into, you know, whether you're sparring or on the bag, you know, it protects you from jamming your thumb as well. On the inside of the thumb, it's just leather. You can just feel the leather in there, which is nice. It's good quality leather. It's thick and smooth on the inside. So it just kind of molds to your thumb a little more easily that way. So the thumb, excellent position, excellent padding. Hand compartment, a little more compact due to this kind of tapering in that it does to the wrist. The wrist area itself, there's probably maybe half of an inch firm padding along both sides here, and maybe, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch of padding on this part of the wrist along the back. So the wrist area is well padded and well protected, and when you lace these up, you do get a really secure fit. A little bit more about this wrist and its shape compared to another Rival glove that you may own or maybe have seen professionals use or people in your gym, and that is the Rival Pro RS100. I mean, there's a lot of things that are different about that glove. It's synthetic leather, but the point I want to make is that glove, the wrist is, for me, and you know, and I'm about 5'9", 160, not super big, kind of a trim guy, skinnier arms. That wrist, even cinched all the way, I still have a decent amount of space in that one, and that was ultimately why I sold those gloves, was because it was loose enough in the wrist that the glove, the hand compartment could twist a little bit, making it uncomfortable and just not protecting my hands quite as well, which was too bad because the hand compartment and protection of those gloves was great, but my hand would just kind of get twisted in there sometimes because I couldn't get as secure of a wrist lock as I would like. These gloves do not have that problem. So you're able to get a really good, firm, comfortable, secure wrap around your wrist with these gloves. Back of the glove, great padding, very protective. Again, this is their HDEF, so a more firm, protective padding. It's very protective. Protects my knuckles very well. I've never injured my hands in these gloves. You have a good, not perfectly flat surface. It is a little rounded. It is a little angled as well, just like it tapers in here. It kind of angles that way. Even though this is rounded, there's enough of this portion, and this is from kind of being broken in, there's enough of this surface that you can get good feedback on the bags and on the mitts. While it is very protective, and I wouldn't call this a puncher's glove. This is a really protective glove, but it's a firm protection, not a pillowy, really soft protection like a winning glove. It's quite firm, but very comfortable, and you get really good feedback when you use it. At first, my first thoughts I had when trying this glove out regarding the padding is it kind of felt bouncy, like it would recoil, quite like I could almost feel it recoiling off the heavy bag. That's not a good or a bad thing. It was just something I noticed that I haven't noticed with other gloves. So you may notice that as well. I've heard some other people say that about Phenom boxing gloves, which from a shape and profile design look kind of have a very similar shape to these. So maybe they use a similar padding as well. I don't know. I don't own those yet. So that review someday in the future, I'm sure. So the padding, excellent. Finger compartment, very comfortable. It's compact, but my fingers, they're not crunched up or uncomfortable. So there's enough room, but there's not a lot of extra room. Down, and then they have this rolled piece along this area here, which is probably this leather seam, but it's kind of a grip bar for your fingers. And it's similar to what I've described when I reviewed the Rfx Guerrero bag gloves. It does have a feeling of almost like a braided rope that's in there. So maybe they've put some actual more material in there, but it's a really comfortable amount of material for your fingers to get a good purchase on, to curl under and hold a fist, a natural fist position really easily. You know, your fingers aren't like gripping, you're not using a lot of extra muscle or energy, so your hands don't, you know, tire out or get cramped up. You can hold a fist in these very easily because of that. Also has a grip bar, nice touch here, hand stitched here, hand crafted with pride. And this is it's a pretty solid grip bar. You can feel it in there, medium density. It's in the right spot, falls right inside here on the inside of your fingers. No complaints at all. Again, the ergonomics of this glove, if I had to pick one thing that make these gloves phenomenal, it is the hand compartment and the ergonomics of it. From this angle, from the placement of the thumb, this seam is not uncomfortable. The parallel thumb, the grip bar for your fingers, and then also your fingertips. Everything in here, just excellent ergonomics. Really secure wrist with the padding on the palm side and along the back. And yes, they do have their angled lace track system, which I think does kind of get a more ergonomic feel, secure fit of these gloves as well. If you're wondering what this is, a little shout out to Lace and Loop. You know, if I can get lace up gloves, if that's an option in a pair of gloves that I'm looking at, I always get lace up, a more secure grip here on my lower palm and upper wrist area, and Lace and Loops make that so easy. I'll put a link below where you can pick these up. They're around $20, but they're super easy. Just wrap them around, and I wrap them around that angled track system. That's it, super easy. So yeah, the number one feature of these gloves, in my opinion, it's the ergonomics and how comfortable and natural of a fist position you have in these gloves. I just feel like I could wear them all day. I'm never thinking at the gym like, oh, I can't wait to get these off because it's pinching me in my thumb or anything like that. They just fit excellently. The liner, I'll do a close-up at the end of the video so you can see a little more a view of the liner, but it's not, so often you see in gloves like a satin polyester. This is like a microfiber. It's really nice. It's not baggy at all. There's no bagging like along the wrist, anywhere, back of the hand, fingertip, anything. It's really nice, but I'll kind of get you a good shot of that at the end of the video, kind of an up close look. The stitching on this has held, again, I've had these like a year and a half. There are 0 busted seams, no frayed stitching, not even along this part on the palm area, this handcrafted with pride. Along the back of the wrist, stitching has held up excellently. Love these gloves. So comfortable, so protective, and super high quality. I've had these over a year and a half, so many rounds of boxing, working on the heavy bag, working with mitts, and these gloves just, they've handled it super well and have no signs of deteriorating. Padding in the knuckle is still good, leather quality super good, stitching great, liner great, no problem with these gloves at all. So very high quality, and again, that's why I put these up. I think these are just as good as, you know, your top tier brands. Winning, Cleto, Grant, Fly. The Rival RFX Guerrero absolutely deserves a spot up there for quality and comfort. So you may be wondering, so as I said in the beginning, Loma no longer uses Rival boxing gloves. I'll say he's still, so Rival's CEO, Russ Anber, has been Loma's cut man for many of his fights, most of his professional fights. And even when Loma switched to wearing Venom boxing gloves and gear, he has shoes, and I mean, they've really like thrown Venom all over him. Russ is still his cut man, so still a good relationship there. The transition from Rival to Venom has nothing to do with the quality of Rival products. These gloves are phenomenal. Just want to put that out there if you're wondering like, well, if he switched to Venom and that's what he's wearing now, is that what I should wear? That would not be the reason to choose the Venom gloves. But because Loma is no longer with Rival, they don't sell these gloves anymore. I think the only way I've seen these gloves, maybe I've found a boxing website like in Great Britain that had a pair still, but other than that, I haven't seen any, and because these were his gloves, they don't make them anymore. They also, Rival does not make these gloves in their standard colors, so the red and black, the white and gold, the white and gray and so on. Rival kind of has 3 or 4 colorways for their Rfx Guerrero you'll see in their fight gloves. They don't just have stock of them for you to purchase sparring gloves. Now Rival, if any of you are listening or happen to come across this, please change that. I understand, you know, these are probably more expensive to make. Do what you do with the Rfx Guerrero with D3O and Teleshock padding. Make them in small batches, give people a heads up, hey, we're gonna have, you know, limited quantities of these available, get them, they'll sell out. But right now, they don't do that. But if you're watching someone from Rival, please start doing that. I would buy them, so many people would. These are excellent gloves. So if you wanted Rival Rfx Guerrero sparring gloves, the only way to get them currently would be to place a custom order, which is pretty intriguing. I mean, you know, maybe this isn't your perfect colorway, you know, blue and yellow, and it also has some other, you know, Loma specific design on here with him kind of being in the Matrix. That was another nickname he used to have. So you could do that. And I'm gonna put the email. So I contacted Rival and clarified, how do you do that? How would you go about ordering a custom pair of these Rfx Guerrero gloves? So I'm gonna put the email down in the description of this video. You email them, let them know you're interested, they will start the process. Turnaround time in non-COVID times, they say somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks, which is pretty standard. It's actually much faster than winning. Winning can take up to 6 months. Grant can take 4 to 6 months. So 6 to 8 weeks, not a bad time frame for custom gloves. Pricing, that also varies. That varies based on the colors you pick, if you're doing special designs, embroidery, other things. But in general, a ballpark in the US, around $350, $360, somewhere in there for a custom pair of gloves, and could go up depending on the design that you're choosing and any other special customizations. Currently, if you went to order a custom pair with them, I'm sure they would get everything designed up and mock it up for you and stuff. But with COVID, so many companies right now, they're not up and running. They aren't making gloves, or if they are, they aren't shipping. So if you did it right now, you're likely gonna wait longer than that. But that would be true for any pair of custom gloves you order right now. But I just wanted you to know, if I didn't have these Rfx Guerreros, or I should say, I don't know when these gloves are gonna wear out, but one day they will, and they'll need to be replaced, I'm ordering a custom pair, guaranteed. I love these gloves that much. So yeah, that is my review of the Rival Rfx Guerrero Lomachenko Edition Sparring Glove with HDEF padding. Let me know what you think about these gloves down in the comments below. If you have any specific questions about these gloves, let me know what you thought of the video. And if you have ideas for future videos you'd like, would you like to see kind of a head-to-head comparison? Rival, Loma specific custom gloves versus the Venom custom gloves, his hammer gloves? Yeah, just let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of all my upcoming videos. And thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.